And one thing that I've always told myself is that I will always live in the moment. You are a weed smoker. And it's like, what if I don't do that anymore?
Hey everyone, it's Ultimate Tiamo here and you're welcome to The Growing Seed. Oh, before we even get anywhere, before we even go anywhere, remember to do the honors of liking, commenting and sharing this with your friends, and of course subscribe to The Growing Seed if you're new to my channel. Today I want to delve into a topic that got inspired by Gugulethu Nyanzumba. She did like her recent upload when she was talking about negative emotions, and I picked up on something that she said, right, that really touched my soul. That was like, child, I need to speak on this because I have experience on this. So the topic is when a good person does bad things. Okay, that is the title of the video. I have quite an experience with a good person doing bad things. So what this means is that when that good person does bad things, meaning I know I'm a good person but I just made a mistake, you know, I made the mistake to do something that does not align with what I believe in, or that's just bad, especially in the eye of the public, you know. Yeah, so that's what it means. And my experience with this is that like I mentioned in my previous video that I am a good person, and I'd like to believe that I am. I try my best to be the best version of myself every day. I try my best to give people that I know, that I love, that I care, the reciprocation that they deserve, you know, more than that actually, because I'm one who believes that when I love you guys, one thing about me is that I value friendship, you know. So I try my best just to give the people that I love the love that they deserve. I try my best to just give. I'm a giver, you know. I love people, I'm compassionate, I'm loving. But with me, it's that I've done terrible things, you know. And I'd like to acknowledge that I have done terrible things, you know. But that does not necessarily mean that I am a bad person, you know. I think that's where it all goes down to the drain now, when you start defining yourself as a bad person. Because one thing that I can tell you is that you doing bad things does not define you as a person that is terrible. Because now once you start focusing your energy in the things that you've done that are bad, it now manifests into shame, which then manifests into guilt, and then you have regrets left in your life, you know. And one thing that I've always told myself is that I will always live in the moment. I do not regret anything. Well, obviously I regret some things, but like when I know that I'm doing something and I'm putting my mind and heart into it, I know that I will not regret it, because it's something that I have chose to do. Which brings me to my next point, that I feel like people really need to be careful with what they do. Because I mean, living in the moment is not always a cool thing to do. And what people really need to get into their heads is that everything has a consequence, you know. Everything has an outcome, whether good or bad. If anything and everything has an outcome and it has a consequence, you know. I think I got to learn that the hard way, especially this year. I've only learned this year that everything that I've done in my past had a consequence today, in my life today, you know. So I always encourage myself to actually think before I do. It's gonna have an outcome. Now that outcome brings in a lot of judgment from society, because you all know what society is. But I feel like the moment you say, I feel like people are different, we have different personalities. So the moment I tell myself that, you know what, I'm gonna do this and I don't really care what anybody else has to say about what I'm doing. That's okay. That's a great mindset to have. I have it too, but you have to really consider how it will affect you and your personal life and your state of being, you know, because the moment you say, I don't care about but not considering what is your heart going to say, trust me, it's not going to end well. It's not going to end well, especially if you know that it's something that's not good for you. That is not, I don't want to say good, that is not advisable to do, especially if you know that you have morals and you know you stick by those morals. But the moment you shy a left because you're like, I don't care anymore, things just won't go well. Things just won't end well. It may end well in the sense that I have done something that I've always wanted to do and it took me a lot of courage, therefore I'm gonna do it. It may end well like that, but the consequence for yourself, it doesn't matter if it's your emotional, your psychological being, it's not gonna end well. You know, it doesn't matter what you do. Society will always have something to say, you know. Do things knowing that, okay, you don't care what other people say, first of all, and always think before you do, especially if you know that it's something that's gonna later on have an impact in your life. Society has this thing where it will deem you as a product of that situation, you know. So for example, if you lie, now let's say you have a friend and you and your friend went through something, so for that period of time when you two are going through the most, you start lying, right, just to protect your friend from the truth or to save yourself in that moment. Doing that, lying for that certain period of time does not mean that you are a liar, okay? So I said, you are not a product of that situation. So this is one thing that my partner has taught me, is that lying for a certain period of time does not mean that you are a liar. Society does that to you. It will literally say, just because you have maybe let's say took cocaine, or let's say you smoked weed for a certain period of time, you are a weed smoker. And it's like, what if I don't do that anymore? What if I've removed myself from that situation and you still want to call me a weed smoker? That's a bit weird, you know? Yeah, so I feel like it's so important to learn the difference with that, because the moment you start listening to those things is the moment you start tearing yourself down. Hence, in the previous video, I kept saying, I am not my mental health, I'm not my mental illnesses, I am not the past. Because the moment you start feeling guilty and you do not forgive yourself is the moment you label yourself as your past. And trust me, you are not your past, okay? Which brings me into my next point. Friends who always bring back your past mistakes. First of all, they are not your friends. Let's just get one thing straight. They are not your friends. People who continuously bring back your mistakes in order to make you feel bad from a malicious place with the intent to crumble you down, that is not a friend. That is a toxic person. That is a manipulative person. So I feel like it's important for people to really realize the type of people that they keep in their lives. You do not want to end up being in a position where you end up feeling terrible. You feel horrible for that one thing or those two things or those 10 things that you've done just because Mataka said, just because Mataka mentioned it in the public eye, and now the public will deem you as your past and they will start saying things about you, and you know very well that's just not who you are, you know. So please be careful of the people that you call friends, guys. A friend will not expose you like that in front of people. For one, if there is a time where your past is brought up, it should be brought up from a good place. It should be brought up in an instance where, let me say my friend is starting to smoke weed again. I will not say, but instead of saying that, I will say, I've noticed that you've gotten back into that cycle, and I'd love for us to talk about it. Let's talk about it. Tell me, why are you doing it again? Do you need help from me? I will be here for you. You know, as long as it's brought up to help you become a better version of yourself, that's okay. Okay, that's okay. But the moment it's brought up in a situation where it's like, oh, it's fishy, you know, fishy man, that's when you should really be considerate. Especially if it's done multiple times. If it's done like the first time, that's okay, you can call your friend out. The moment it starts, like the moment your past starts triggering you, I feel like with me, my past has triggered me in so many ways. So many times, so many ways, like it's just been bad, you know. But I think the number one thing that I've always had a problem with was that I had a hard time accepting the past for what it is, you know, because I thought, I told myself that, you know what, I am this person, I have done terrible things, therefore I'm a terrible person, I don't deserve anything that's good that's coming my way, I'm not worthy of great things. And guys, you really need to accept it for what it is. Like, it is what it is. That statement is very powerful. It may be used, most of the time it may be used in a situation where people just don't really care anymore. But you really need to accept that it is what it is. It is what it is, meaning it is the past, therefore you should leave it for what it is. You should leave it where it came from, you know, because when you bring your past into your present, your life is not going to be nice. It's just going to be a mess. Like, you're going to be miserable, torturing yourself, talking down on yourself, and you're just going to be there wondering, like, where did I go wrong? You went wrong when you deemed yourself as a product of that situation and you did not accept yourself. You did not forgive yourself. Self-forgiveness is everything, guys. So please, guys, if you can, forgive yourself, okay? You are worthy of everything that you've wished for. You're worthy of everything that you've manifested. You are worthy of the freedom that you crave. You deserve the freedom that you crave. You are, okay? You do deserve it, okay? I believe everyone does deserve a second chance in this life thing. No one has a right to judge you. They may do it, but no one, remember, no one has a right to judge you. It's your life, your decisions, your mistakes. You will fix it. But another person giving their input, a negative input for that matter, don't pay attention to it, because like, it's not their life. You know exactly what you're doing, you know? So yeah, that's what I wanted to touch on. That's what I felt like saying, you know, because it's very important for like someone to just keep reminding you that you're good enough. You know, you're worthy of great things. You are not your past. You are already the best version of yourself, especially if you know that you have taken yourself out of those previous mistakes. We are human. We will make mistakes. What really matters is what you will do from now onwards in order to better yourself. What's next? What's the next step from there, you know? Yeah, I think that's it. So this is what I meant when I said I want to talk about something that comes from within, and this is within, guys. This is what I think about on a daily. I know I'm deep. Sometimes I'm just like, I bore myself. Borix. You know what? It's fine. Somebody out there heard my rants. Can I get a, you know? And I have to go to dance. I don't know what I'm still doing. If you've reached this far into the video, I'd love to thank you so much for your love and support. Again, remember to do the honors of liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to The Growing Seed if you're new to my channel. I'll see you guys on my next one. Bye! Mwah!